Exactly.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about the musical evolution prior to Eve's Road. We talked about yours a little bit with piano to flute to harp. But you have a project as well that I love. You and I had talked a little bit about this, and I featured it on other shows of mine.
Yeah, appreciate
this is Sikmanofasia. So I need to know what's this about? Tell people out there.
That's just like I said. I always wanted to make music, despite the fact that I'm not qualified to do it. But as the technology has gotten better, I was like, well, everything's in front of me. I can do it on the cheap. And so now it's just been about 20 years of me messing around with whatever was available, like Fruity Loops or whatever thing. And now the stuff that's on Spotify, I just make on my phone and GarageBand.
Yeah.
And because it's right there, and they got like 1 million sounds for it. So it's kind of like therapy for me, I guess. It's my place. I go, and so like when everybody goes to bed at the house, I get up and spend a couple hours just getting in a little world there and messing around and coming up with stuff. Yeah,
it comes out so good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Jason's all like, humble, but he makes incredible music. But then also back in the day, before I didn't really have a setup for the harp. We had literally an iPhone headset, like a wired headset that we dangled from the top of the harp. And I plugged it into an iPad and we recorded it in some DAW. And then I would email it to Jason. He made it sound like I was in the studio, and I'm singing in this headphone. And he would, email it back and then it would be a thing. And so, he's really with the technology, like the recording, I can barely get by. And he's like, here you go, And so it's fantastic.
So when you guys met in school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so were you guys doing public, like gigging back then, or just kind of messing around?
No, we just did stuff for our own amusement and enjoyment and to like share with our friends. And we really weren't doing anything. And then I moved away in like 2001 and stayed away for, about 20 years or so. And so it wasn't until then that, so we were still, collaborating, doing things here and there. And Jason was really doing his project. And I said, I'm coming back to Tyler. We're going to do some shows. And I was like, I want you doing this. I was like, I need you to put it on a drum kit and, transfer this to this. And we're going to go, do a show. Mm-hmm. And so we got booked at this, at the Green Room, actually. And it was us and some of the Travelers and Lenny and the D. And then we met a band from Dallas called 52 Hertz Well. It's now our BFFs that we do shows with. And, we actually used the MIDI controller for the first show. Like we didn't have the drum kit. And so he was on a keyboard, like doing the drums and
that's what I'm used to. Like that's how I play drums at home, when I'm recording. Mm-hmm. It's just easier.
So take us into the room as you guys decide to kind of give birth to Eve's Road.
Well, we just, we're kind of doing it, recording the things, and I was doing the live shows, and then I was like, come with me, and then, come with me more often, and more often, and more often. But when we, had the first show at the Green Room, I was like, oh man, I guess we need to have like a band name. And Eve's Road is actually something I released a couple of songs, out years and years ago, and I just was on the brain, and I was like, well, just use that. And so we just kind of kept using it, and just kind of evolved from there.
What was the origins of the name?
It was actually literally a road, and I lived in Atlanta, and there was a road called Eve's Road, and I went, that would be a cool band name, and then all the connotations that come with it about like Eve's path, and things like that.
I didn't know that.
And so
he's in the band.
He's in the band.
No idea.
He's one of my top fans on the Eve's Road Facebook page.
Do you accept the badge?
Yeah, sure.
Of course, you have to, right? Yeah. I always accept the badge just because I don't know whether Facebook is going to tell the artist if I don't accept
he declined the badge.
He didn't share it all. No, he's lying.
He deleted that badge and blocked.
He said he didn't want the badge. Oh, man. Yeah.
But I really couldn't, I have so much fun, now that Jason's with me. I don't like doing solo shows anymore. When somebody wants to book me for something solo, I'm like, oh, my drummer's not available. I'm not really sure if I can do that. So...
Well, here's a question for y'all, because I know y'all, even though you've known each other a long time, you've written songs together for a long time. I also know that you write separately, and it's kind of a different vibe individually. So, how does each of your unique songwriting elements kind of merge into the sound that's important for Eve's Road?
Yeah, like we get in there and just whoever has an idea, we're like, well, it's probably a good one, so we just go with it. Like, because somebody will feel something. I'm always about the vibe of a song, and so you're like, maybe we do it like this or whatever. So it's just like whichever one wants to guide it, just let them take the reins and go with it.
Yeah, it's kind of like this is like we have one that we didn't play, but called Nightlight, and Jason wrote 100% like that entire song, and I just like came in on the end and kind of harp tinkled around with it, and then it's evolved to be this. Now the harp's the centerpiece of it, but he wrote all the lyrics to that. So we have a few that he's written 100% of it, and then I've just kind of come in and added to it. But yeah, this pretty much is one of us will come up with an idea and go, this is kind of what I'm thinking, and then we'll just play off of it, and it just kind of goes from there.
And how do you think harp actually gives you some advantages in songwriting? Because like typically, I've talked to a lot of songwriters, and usually the bass is either acoustic guitar or piano, right?
Right.
But you're not writing songs from those two bases, at least not anymore.
No, not
So
typically.
what advantages and disadvantages do you feel like the harp brings for you?
Well, I feel like you don't see that every day. So that in itself, just the visual appeal of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is really so similar to a piano that I can kind of get into that headspace, and they kind of complement each other. But it's just your hands are this way instead of this way, but it's just a piano with all white keys, and then the pedals are your black keys. But it's a little bit similar to that, but I feel like the just the different tonality of the harp and the piano kind of gives things that different, like deeper, darker, kind of vibe. Or
when you're writing, are you searching for those elements that the harp brings to a person?
I really am.
That the other instruments couldn't?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I really am, because I really want to, do something that's, does the most for, that instrument, and, brings that out to the forefront.
It makes it more dynamic, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of it just, kind of, people think of the harp and they think of glissandos and arpeggios, and, that's it. But the harp can do just so much more than that. And especially with the electric harp, like the bass on this one is almost like its own special thing for me. Like I love being in the low end of that harp, because it's just it's different from a bass guitar. It's different from the low end of a piano. And so it's just really, cool and fun to mess around down there.
It's funny. My first experience for you guys was Ocean Integration, and the version that's out on Spotify and YouTube and what have you. And I heard the two harps in them, and I was like, how is she doing that? And so instant curiosity. And so then when we went and saw y'all in Tyler, and I saw the loop, I was like,
that's what's going on.
So that's how she's going to do it. It's magic.
It's magic, loop magic. I love looping, and I didn't realize, because to me it just kind of came naturally to me to build and build and build. But I've had a lot of people hit me up and go, hey, because they know I teach harp lessons, I teach piano lessons. Would you teach me looping?
Yeah.
And I was like, I haven't thought about that, but
yes, you should.
Heck yes, I would teach you looping. And a lot of people are like, I just can't get the timing right. And it is, if you are a hair off, then it's dominoes falling.
That's why it's so impressive to see you guys doing what you're doing. And I even look at him and he's in awe of you. Like when you're playing, like I see it, like, and he's not meaning to do that.
I catch him out of the corner of my eye every now and then. I'm like, okay, we're in the same, we're in the zone, we're in the same, the same space. And
I would love for you to describe the things you can create by fusing the acoustic instruments with, like, the effects and the pedals and things that you have, like not only to your original music but to the covers that you guys choose. Because man, I love the way you guys present covers to folks too.
Thank you. I think one thing that has kind of become our thing is we are like the conversational band, for your venue. Like, people like that, we are not as loud as a full band. You can, speak over us and have a conversation. So I think, sometimes when we are doing covers, it's like, how could we, maybe like we do Metallica, let's make this a Metallica lullaby, a sweet, classical instrument, let's take it down a notch. So I think that, is a place that we're going a lot, is how can we sweeten this, grungy, whatever kind of song and make it our own and make it more, lo-fi or, just a different vibe.
It is the power of the harp. Like, whatever song it is, I can pretty well picture it in my head, like what it's going to sound like when she plays it on harp, and it just instantly beautifies it, so you're starting off at an advantage, and you just get creative with whatever you're going to do with it. And
you do have an advantage because it's very hard to make a harp sound bad.
Right.
Like,
it's going to be pretty.
They just, it's hard to make them make a bad sound.
Do you guys feel like when you guys are kind of rehearsing that some songs don't make the cut because you're missing an instrument?
Yes, actually. I think we've tried to do, and I was actually thinking about this on the way over here. We did a Queens of the Stone Age song once, and I love it, but it's just like there's something in the middle that's not there, and it's a guitar. That's what, there's that timbre that's not there.
It's hard to get like a hit, like a crescendo or something that's supposed to suddenly explode.
Yeah.
You have to figure out a way to either mute it, then like take it a different direction, or just omit that, because you don't have that power. So whatever.
If you decide to go through with it anyway, you're kind of forcing it at that point.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly, and then it's like, I would rather, just not do, not everything is going to work, so that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
We got a bunch of them.